Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys DC. It's about darn time, 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. Now today we are taking a look at none other than King Shark from the Suicide Squad. Now I got mine from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They do have installment plans and a reward system. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon and join button so you're notified as soon as a brand new review goes live on the channel. As for the box art, absolutely gorgeous. I love the beachy vibes, perfect for King Shark. We do have his name down below in a glossy finish, whereas the rest of the artwork is a matte textured finish. We also have a Suicide Squad logo. Front and center, an image of King Shark, and the rest of the artwork is so fun. We've got these big pink waves, some palm trees, and a sunset in the background. Like I said, beachy vibes. The pastel colors are on point. On the side of the box, the rest of those big honkin' pink waves and a King Shark logo, because, you know, nom nom. Then up top, the Suicide Squad. Speaking of up top, in case you forgot, yeah, it's still King Shark. We've got some severed hands in a circle and that teeth logo again. Around the back, we do have all the warnings and legal info, the hands, the sunset, the waves, and the palm trees. And for good measure, that King Shark logo once more. When I first saw the box for this guy, I thought, no way, there is no way King Shark is that big. But as you can plainly see, I was totally wrong. There's not a bunch of empty space in the clam tray for padding. He pretty much takes up the entire thing. He is enormous. Now, for those who don't know, this guy is a power pose. What the heck does that mean if you've never heard the words power and pose together before? Well, he's less of an articulated figure and more of a semi-articulated statue. We will discuss the ramifications of that a little bit later. First in-hand impressions, though, are quite good. This guy is super weighty. What we are going to do now, though, is get all of his accessories, as few of them as there are, laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Normally we would start with the display base first, but unfortunately he doesn't have one, which makes perfect sense because he's a big boy. The display base would have to be equally big, so they wanted to save the money and save us the money by not including one. Now he does come with two swappable hands, different gestures to the ones that are already on him. We will swap them onto him for the final poses at the end. I like the wrinkling and the shark skin texture. Gets a tick from me. He also has some lighter shading and a bit of a purplish hue in the crevices, just to mix it up. An absolute must include, so I'm glad it's here, is a mini Starro. Now the eye looks quite realistic and glossy and wet looking. In fact, the same goes for the entire Starro. Around the back there's a ton more sculpt work and the paint applications kinda make it look slightly pearlescent, almost ethereal. I would have liked to have seen more of these guys, not just one of them, but having one is still good. But 2 or 3 is even better. King Shark does come with a book that says The Varieties of Religious Experience by William James. Around the back, very cheeky, it says the best of the world's best books by Modern Library. All of the printing looks good for the cover, and on the inside the pages are printed as well. Your eyes aren't going bad, they genuinely are that blurry. Why could there not have been real text in here? I don't know. I am glad that he does come with a book though, cause King Shark, so smart me. What we are going to do now though is get King Shark himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. Not that this guy can really get down with any of that stuff anyway. You're pretty much buying him for one reason. The P word. Presence, and this guy has it in spades. He's big, he's beefy, and his proportions, they are spot on to Nanawe from the movie. Even from a distance you can tell that skin texture is insanely good. And spoiler alert, up close it gets even better. Plus the paint applications on top of that skin texture, second to none. The likeness to King Shark is absolutely there. The other thing that's absolutely there are the seams, because this guy is a power pose, which means for a lot of people, they are going to be turned off immediately. Having seams on such a seamless type character being a shark, I understand, not ideal. For me, does it really bother me? No, not in the least. Up close and personal, kicking things off with the head sculpt first. That is 100% King Shark, and I am all for it. The goofy grin, the multiple rows of teeth, and the glossy, gross-looking tongue. You also have these big honking black eyes on either side. They look soulless, but also kinda cute at the same time. I can't help myself, this guy is so lovable. You do have some little nostrils and a bunch of wrinkles. The skin texture though is super HD, and that goes for the entire body. Of course, around the side you can make out his gills, but seeing as though he's on land, not breathing oxygen from the water, they're closed. Around the back, way more skin texture that actually looks and kind of feels like shark skin. It's almost a little bit gross. We do have multiple layers of shading with washes in the crevices and some dry brushing on the surface for the raised areas. Then for the dorsal fin, it's present. It's nicely sculpted and it's a little bit soft. So fingers crossed if he happens to take a shelf dive, King Shark, I am so sorry, this should be perfectly fine. I don't think I highlighted this super well when we discussed the head sculpt, but his mouth is fully open and it's a massive cavity. So if you have a severed arm, maybe the one that came with Pennywise, you can pop this all the way in. Or maybe he's chowing down on some Staros, you can pop this in there too. Just like a real world shark, although they've never quite looked like this, his belly is a lot lighter than the back of him. I honestly cannot get over how good this guy looks. The mix of textures with the really deep scratches, the lighter shading, and the subtle hints of purple. It comes together beautifully. We also have some speckles and dots on the surface just to break up the grey finish. Now, these scratches, they're not just painted. No, they're fully sculpted. You can feel them. Also, King Shark is quite rotund, and the byproduct of being this rotund and being a shark is some pulling of the skin, and they have sculpted that in really well. Now, unfortunately, being a power pose, there is just one drawback. The visible joints. They aren't seamless, this isn't rubber, this is sculpted plastic. So at the shoulders, those joints, they're pretty ugly. Although, I don't know about y'all, but when you step back and look at this guy as a whole, the presence kinda takes over, and those joints, for me at least, they're not a super big deal. So yes, that does mean no elbow articulation. This is also sculpted plastic, but that means the texture is dialed up to 11. The camera quite literally loves this. In 4K, this is going to look stunning. On the outside of the arm, it's slightly darker, versus the inside, that's lighter. The only complaint I have is the same thing can't be said for the hands, and I'm not sure why. There should be some lighter shading on the hands to match up with the rest of the arm. Coming down to his boardies, aka his swimming shorts or swimming trunks, they are full fabric and they are filthy. There's dirt and grime on the surface, there are a couple of tears and you can see his shark skin through them, then down below they're tattered. If you're wondering can you remove them, yes you can, there's some velcro. There's also some velcro on his body, so they shouldn't sag down when it comes to posing. Not that you can really do a ton of that anyway. Then around the back, he does have some proper real working pockets. What would he be storing in there? No idea. His proportions are really funky. He's got this huge upper torso and long arms and these really short stumpy legs, but I guess that kind of adds to the cuteness. He's a little bit deformed. Now we do have a ton more of that shark skin down below and his feet are on swivels. On the underside, they are nice and flat and quite big, so he should be pretty planted. The only complaint I have is when you swivel them, they are pre-sculpted for one position, so it kind of breaks it up and looks a little bit ugly. For a quick side-by-side comparison, on the left, So-So Toys Bloodsport, and on the right, Milton, aka Thunder Toys Polka Dot Man. Now, as you can quite clearly see, King Shark is bigger, as he should be. He's wider and overall just has more presence. Now, I did have to step him back a little because I wanted to fit everything in frame, but in person, having them properly lined up, he would be just slightly taller yet again. Why is Hot Toys themselves not making Harley Quinn and Bloodsport and Ratcatcher 2 and maybe even Polka Dot Man? No idea. Could be that they're lazy, could be that they don't think they'll sell well. Either way, thank goodness for third party. Going over articulation for what might just be the quickest articulation segment in history. Don't blink, cause you may miss it. The arms are on swivels forward and back, ball joint for the wrist. We do have a swivel at the waist, and down here for the ankle, swivel. Moving on to the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. The first annoying thing is we only get 1 pair of shorts. I was really hoping we'd get the orange pair from when he was in prison, just like they showed on display at Secret Base, but I guess at the last minute before this guy went up for pre-order, they decided, nah, let's just remove them. The second annoying thing, and this isn't a big deal for me personally, but I know it will be for some of you. It's the fact that this guy is power pose. Now, I understand why they did that, because he's a very unique shape. He's quite portly, and you wouldn't want a bunch of ugly seams and lines all over him. So keeping them to a minimum, I think, was the right choice. But for the legs, they could have easily put some articulation in here because they're covered by the shorts anyway. The third annoying thing, as much as I love this Starro both in sculpt and paint applications, we only get 1 of them. The reason that's an issue is because in the blogger pics, King Shark was literally covered in them. And when I opened the box, I was pretty surprised to only see 1. They could have alternated the poses, even done one in like a face-grabbing pose so you could have popped it on a figure in your display. But they didn't, we only get 1. It may sound like I'm being a little bit harsh and ungrateful wanting multiples of things, but in the movie it was quite literally raiding those suckers, so I would have expected at least 2 or 3. Nevertheless, the first cool thing is the skin texture. It is glorious. It quite literally looks like shark skin. You can feel it, it's tactile and raised. We also have a bunch of scratches and it's painted beautifully. The second cool thing is King Shark's book. He had to come with one. It's an actual book. You can flip through the pages, although the prints are a little bit low res. On the back, I love this, so cheeky, the best of the world's best books. The third cool thing is, even though he's a power pose and he's not really meant to do much posing, you do still get some extra hands. Now, they could have quite easily cheaped out and said, no, you only need 1 set of hands, you're not going to be posing this boy anyway. But they didn't, we get a second set. Wrapping up on King Shark, aka Nanawe, aka Sylvester Stallone as a big honkin' shark from the Suicide Squad. James Gunn is one crazy man, bringing King Shark to live action and making him goofy as hell, but it worked. As soon as I saw this guy on screen, I was all in. I was hoping, I was praying Hot Toys, please make this guy. And luckily they did. Unfortunately though, it's the only character they made from the movie. Not sure why, but at the very least, third-party companies, they're picking up the slack. Fingers crossed we get the rest of the team, but so far so good. It's ticking along quite nicely. As for King Shark, is he any good? Justin, get to the point. Okay, I'm sorry. I think he is. He's not going to be for everyone because he's power pose, meaning exposed joints, and also limited articulation, but I don't really care about any of that. He brings the presence, the skin texture, the paint applications, and the accessories that are here. They're more than good enough to make up for the lack of articulation. If you were hoping to go posing crazy with this guy, then he's not for you. Simple, pass, and move on. There is a third-party King Shark coming out with more articulation, and don't worry, I will pick that guy up and review him on the channel. So, at the end of this review, I quite clearly am enamored by this big honkin' King Shark, but I will readily admit he isn't perfect. I would have loved to have seen more Starros, more swap-out hands, more accessories, and some switchable shorts. As it stands, he is a slim package, but if you love King Shark and you love the movie, just get this guy. You're going to love this figure as well. I got mine from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They do have installment plans and a reward system. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.